Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your day to show up for another JB&A webinar. I am here today with Rick Puleo. He's the application engineer and trainer at JB&A. And then we also have special guest, Kane Peterson, who's the senior solutions architect over at NewTek. And they are going to tell us all about NewTek NDI for live production. A couple of housekeeping things. If you have any questions during the presentation, we are going to have a Q&A at the end. So go ahead and type into your chat window over on the right-hand side of your screen. And those questions will come in. We'll read them off, and then Rick and Kane will be able to answer those for you. If anybody
or Ethernet local area network. And it really provides the flexibility in terms of getting the assets, getting the material, getting the signal flow that you need to the destination that you want, and then back again, all through a single cable from each source and destination. So how does this all happen? The primary, this is all comes over through NDI. And NDI is a network device interface. And NDI utilizes, as it says here, multicast domain name system. And what that does is it allows each device to be discovered very quickly and easily. Zero configuration. As long as they're connected, they can be discovered. So that makes the ease of configuring it and the ease of putting it together just painless. It's as easy as plugging in the cable, plugging in that single Ethernet cable and firing it up. And it can be discovered. So we are dealing with gigabit Ethernet. And the next question that's going to be is, what are our bandwidth requirements? And it's not as much as what you'd expect. I think the common production resolution that we're working with right now is 1080i or 1080p. And at 125 megabits per second, you can get a lot of streams of video going through that single gigabit Ethernet cable. It operates most efficiently in a dedicated network with high bandwidth and high availability. A typical NDI stream, a typical 1080 HD video stream is about 100 megabits per stream. It's very efficient and is designed to have very low latency, and multiple streams can be stacked together on a single gigabit network. So is a lot of this really opens up a lot of opportunity and options to be able to work with various formats, obviously, if you need it, but also many streams, and at the ease of, again, going through single gigabit Ethernet cables from each device. This next slide, I really wanted to put something together as to what would be required in a small mobile production rig. So at the heart of it, I've got the NewTek TC1. And of course, I still have SDI cameras available to me. So there are 4 SDI inputs into the TC1. So those cameras can connect through traditional baseband video. But I've also incorporated a 16-port GigE switch. And this is where it suddenly starts expanding. This is where I can really open up my production workflow. Now, of course, I've got 4 of the NewTek PTZ cameras, and then I also have one direct connected laptop running Windows. I've just added a Wi-Fi router and that's doling out DHCP. So now additional laptops could be incorporated, either Mac or Windows, and they could be providing social media, they could be providing data, they could be providing feeds from satellites. Just whatever you have currently on a laptop is now a source. And then it goes beyond there. We could add tablets and mobile devices that be connected to that Wi-Fi router as well. So just in this simple production, into a simple production rig, I now can expand way beyond what I used to be able to do, which used to require converters and a lot more hardware. But now I have the simple ease of a single connection to a GigE switch, and whatever other device that I have connected on this small network is now available as a source to my TC1. Now, also remember that my output from the TC1 is available on that network as well. So I can have an encoder sending out the stream. I could have another laptop as a monitor. So the possibilities become very just limitless almost. So here's a couple of devices that I like to show here. Of course, we have the PTZ Camera, and it has GigE connectivity built into it. But if you want to incorporate your existing cameras that will not have NDI incorporated, the Connect Spark is a perfect solution. It comes in both HDMI and SDI, and obviously it can connect with a single GigE Ethernet cable, and it could also connect via Wi-Fi. And with the fact that it's bidirectional, you also get some feedback coming back from it. It's very cool because when your camera is in preview, lights up in green. When you are hot, that lights up in red. So there's data going back and forth. It's a very cool solution. So how can you test? How can you work with NDI? Kane, am I missing anything? Just wanted to check in with you in case there's anything I may have missed.
No, sorry, I had to unmute there. No, you're covering all the key points in there. The one thing I would just point out on the camera, just so everybody knows, is that with a single cable, you can have video, audio, tally, camera control, and if it's hooked to a power over Ethernet plus switch, power. So this can make it really easy to have these cameras set up quickly if you're taking them to like mobile setups and stuff, because one cable is all you need to make this entire camera operate, which can be a great feature of it.
So that's another excellent point. I'm going to go back to my mobile rig diagram here, and yes, and we've all been out in productions, and we all have our toolkit, and we all can fix an SDI cable in 10 minutes or less. But what if you did run out of that particular connector that you need for that particular grade of SDI cable that you have on hand? Now, utilizing NDI, you can pick up either Cat6 or Cat5e cable and connectors at a Home Depot, at a hardware store. So should something bad happen to a cable, and we all know that they do, getting back online and getting back into production, should anything happen, is quicker and easier than ever. Regardless of the conditions. You have to be in a pretty remote location if you can't get your hands on some Ethernet cable. So I think that's a real important feature, considering that in addition to demoing and training and providing support, I've done lots of live production too. So I'm on your team. I know what it's like. All right, so where was I? Taking NDI out for a test drive. So I strongly recommend going there and downloading NDI Tools. If you do have a TriCaster, almost any model, whether it is a standard edition or advanced edition, I strongly recommend going to the most current version, but download NDI Tools. websites right there. You will get, in NDI Tools for Windows, there are some fantastic tools that are free, and this would be a great way to test out your current infrastructure and how to build upon it. So it does come with these 6 applications. I want to focus on some playout. So the NDI scan converter. This is an updated, this is a completely new application. It is similar to the old IVGA in that it will take whatever is on your desktop or a particular window, and it will send it as an NDI source. In addition to that, there's the NDI VLC plugin. If you don't have VLC player, strongly recommend it. It's a free application. And what that does is what that plugin will allow you to do is now you have a laptop or a workstation that now can be sending content to your TriCaster. So your technical director who's operating the TriCaster doesn't have to look around for a particular clip. You could have an assistant TD that is actually pulling that up for you. So again, I mean, something as simple as that, having a standalone playout device with just these free plugins. And then of course there's NDI test patterns. This is a quick and easy way just to see if you do have connectivity. So if you don't have a TriCaster, there is NDI Studio Monitor. So you could have 2 laptops, 2 PC workstations, set one up on one side of your network, load up either VLC player or scan converter or even test patterns, open up NDI Studio Monitor on your second workstation, and now you can see just how easy it works. This NDI Studio Monitor could also act as a multi-viewer for NDI sources in your live production. So instead of having that director or that producer looking over your TD's shoulder, they can be kind of someplace else and still be able to monitor the show and monitor all the shots. All these tools are free. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, finish up with it, and I'm going to add one more thing.
All these tools are free and available just from the NewTek website. I do have to mention that the Macintosh tools are somewhat limited. There is the NDI Studio Monitor and the NDI Scan Converter for Macintosh, but it does not have the VLC plugin or the test patterns. Kane, jump on in.
You actually answered a little bit what I was going to say. I was going to mention there also are OS X versions of the monitor, the NDI scan converter, and of the Adobe plugin, which actually is very cool as well. So you could certainly do this Mac to PC. And I'll lastly throw out there too, if you do some searching around on the internet, there are also some additional free NDI tools out there as well. So while they're easy to find because they're all available from NewTek, these are not the only ones out there that are available at no cost. So
yeah, and just jumping back to this slide here of my example production rig. I mean, with a Wi-Fi router, I know there's a cost to it, but you could have your Apple iOS, and I believe it is for Google Chrome as well, the Google phone, the Samsung phone. That can be an additional video source. That could be a camera that is now incorporated into your live production. So yes, there are some great solutions out there.
Yeah, if you search on the iOS store, the Apple store for NDI Camera, you'll be able to find that application. It's not free, but it's not terribly expensive, and you'll be able to turn those devices into NDI senders, or NDI cameras effectively as well. So these tools are available. You can get started just testing out your infrastructure right now and seeing how easy it is to build out a complete NDI workflow. So where was I? These are my tools. The other thing I wanted to point out, the other thing I want to include is there's a great guide, Getting Started with NDI, and it kind of walks you through all the steps that you would need and ways that you can test out your network.
And I mean, you could pick up a very economical GigE switch, an unmanaged switch, and connect these devices and see how it works. And grab a large spool of Cat5e cable, put some connectors on it, and see how far you can go. It's all listed in there in the documentation, but I think this really opens up your production possibilities. So where are we? NDI is live now, and Kane has some details on the Weather Channel and tell us exactly how they are using it, Kane.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we just wanted to give an example here of of a customer that's gone kind of all in, as you could say, with NDI, and just kind of describe a little bit of what they do. So, Weather Channel, I'm sure many of you have heard of them. You have your apps on your phone, and often providing weather information for all over the country for people to get what's happening. They've been a NewTek house for a long time using our gear. When NDI came out, which was actually 2 years ago, was when NDI first started shipping, they immediately jumped in and started using it and started taking advantage of the efficiencies. And then more recently, they did a large upgrade of their entire facility with all new gear, and they really wanted to go as NDI as they completely could, because the workflows that it allowed for them made things so much easier. And so just some examples, if you think about it, while certainly they have cameras coming in, they've got a lot of computer-based sources, right? Weather maps and stuff coming off of computers. So NDI made it much easier to bring those devices in. And they also pull a lot of stuff off of social media, pictures, video clips of people taking things, weather events or things in nature. They're always wanting to include that into their programs, and being able to do that has minimized the amount of time of turnaround to take clips that they download and feed them into their productions, because before it was a very manual, laborious process, and now it's just as easy as, hey, the clip is online, let's use NDI scan converter, we can just play it right off the computer right into their live production, minimizing that and just allowing fewer people to do more. And for anybody who watched online the eclipse that happened a few months ago, Weather Channel did that using NewTek gear. NDI was a huge component of making that happen. The entire eclipse for like 4 hours was streamed. They were bringing clients from over the internet in from different locations as the maximum of the eclipse occurred throughout the country, and those IP streams were turned into NDI to allow them to have dozens of channels of live video coming from all over the country. So this is kind of on the higher end of the scale, but this is something NDI is really used from, as we would like to say, from the person, running it even in a very small setup, all the way up to large broadcasters like the Weather Channel, using it to get their stuff done every day.
I think that's an excellent example of a high-end broadcaster really taking advantage of it. My example that I have is I had a local call letter station that has a TriCaster 460, and they were running the Advanced Edition. Now, this is an established call letter station, and all their infrastructure in-house is still all SDI based, and they have many SDI ENG cameras. And with their 460, they were fine with a 4-camera shoot, but they actually did a election debate, a local election debate, and they wanted to go with 8 cameras, and they were concerned that they were going to have to, rent some other gear. And we sat down, and I pointed out the Connect Spark, and they purchased 4 of those, and now they just doubled their production using their existing hardware. And it was a fantastic success. There are built-in tools to ensure that that everything is absolutely in sync. They actually ran the audio direct from an analog mixer into one of the cameras, and the TriCaster Advanced Edition has some excellent tools just to make sure that everybody is frame accurate, and it was a it worked out to be a fantastic production. And those are just some possibilities out there. Now, should things get really complex, NewTek does have professional services. So if you do have additional questions, both JB&A and NewTek has professional services to answer some of these questions for you. And if we can develop specific workflows as to what you and your customers require, and we're here to help. Kane, do you want to dig in a little bit deeper with pro services?
Yeah, I just want to, give a little bit of what this could mean for your production. So I know there's a lot of people out there, they have specific workflows that they might want to enable, but these could be time consuming. It could take, especially, maybe you're not a TriCaster expert, enough, but this might be taking it to the next level. We can help you with that. We can help figure out how to make these things work. If it means building macros, maybe it's building custom interfaces. There's a whole ability on TriCaster to build web-enabled devices. Our live panel is a brand new technology we just came out with on our high-end systems that allows you to do this kind of out of the box to some functionality. But beyond that, we have the ability to kind of custom write our own or write them for you. So we've done that for a few customers where they had a specific workflow that needed to be enacted, and we literally designed it all around a web interface. So those are things we could do. Perhaps you're hooking into other kinds of gear or equipment that's non-NewTek, but you still, you need some help trying to figure that all out. We can also keep back at NewTek with our professional services a diagram of your setup. So when you call in needing help for something, instead of you having to describe how everything is connected, our professional services team can literally pull up your diagrams of your thing, go, I see exactly what you have. Hey, maybe right here is where you've got the problem. So it just can help minimize downtime and get you up and running. So there's all sorts of things they can help you out with. So I just want you to realize that even if what you're doing is maybe very complex, maybe it's just above your head, maybe you just need more help to get it done faster, right? You just need to lower the turnaround time. You don't want to spend a month getting it done, you only want to spend a week getting it done. Professional services is there to help make this all happen.
And please feel free to reach out to JB&A as well. We work with many partners that tie in very nicely into your NewTek live production workflow. One of the cool products that I'm kind of excited about is SNS has built in an NDI plugin that would make it available to play clips out directly out of an SNS SAN. So again, not only do you have laptops being able to pull content, but you could have a large catalog of clips, terabytes and terabytes of clips that you can call from when required. And that these are all tools that can help increase the complexity of your live production workflow. And again, any questions on that, please always feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to help. And then I believe they have a new announcement. And Kane, I think I'm going to turn this over to you as well.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, it just so happened to coincide today, so we were able to add this in last minute. But one of the products NewTek has made has been instant replay with our 3-play systems, and we just introduced a brand new model today. You can go read about it on our website, called 3P1. This is a 4-input, 2-output replay system that's full NDI. So it can bring NDI in, NDI out. Our previous replay systems only had NDI output. So this really is the other half that people have been asking for actually quite a while, of when can we bring NDI in to a replay system? Well, this one does it. It also supports 1080p 60 video format, so it's a higher frame rate video. Some other really nice things about it, if you do plug in SDI cameras, they will get turned into NDI sources. So this not only could become a replay system, but can also function as a 4-input module into your production as well. So for example, just imagine you have, let's say 8 cameras coming in for your sporting event. You could plug 4 directly into the TriCaster, 4 directly into the 3-play system, and those all 8 of those cameras will be available for switching in the TriCaster, while the 4 that are plugged into the 3-play will also be available for instant replay. So gives you some, kind of additional flexibility there. One last thing about the solution as well is it also includes a professional version of our NDI Telestrator with some additional capabilities built into it. So not only are you getting instant replay with the solution, you're also getting telestration using NDI as well, just running on a Windows computer, be it a tablet or a PC laptop, with or without a touch screen. Of course, a touch screen is always nicer, but it's not a requirement. So you're actually getting 2 full actually applications of sports production, replay, and telestration together with the new 3P1 system. So these are now available, and we do, like I said, the information just went up on the website today, so you can look into it. And anybody doing sports production will probably find this a fantastic add-on to their workflow.
I didn't see, that's something that's pretty cool. You include in the telestrator. That's awesome. And just, I don't know, I really dig the way the whole 3-play works. It makes it very exciting. So I want to be mindful of everybody's time. This kind of wraps up kind of the NDI workflow overview. And if you do have any questions, please let me know, and we're here to answer them.
Okay, great. Rick, this is Laura again, and I do see one question. Just one second, and everybody go ahead and type them in if you have more. Let's see. Speaking of VLC, is it possible to output TC1 program through NDI to create a VLC network stream, such as RTP or RTMP?
So I think they're talking about taking the output of TriCaster, feeding it as a source into VLC Player. Currently, VLC Player does not have NDI input. I'm gonna give two kind of answers to this, though. One is a solution that can be done today, and another one is potentially what might happen in the future. So while VLC Player does not have NDI input today, one thing you can get, this is fairly inexpensive, but it is a paid add-on, is a product called NDI Transmit. And NDI Transmit will take NDI streams and then turn them into webcam. It's like a virtual webcam. And VLC Player can take in virtual webcams. So basically, you're using this little piece of software as the glue to come NDI into something currently VLC Player can accept today. And there actually is a demo version of NDI Transmit you can download off the NewTek website. So you could try this out today and make sure it's going to work in the workflow that you're trying to do. It's just going to have a watermark on the image, and then once you're satisfied with it, you can then get the full version, which removes the watermark. So that could be done today. In the future, potentially what can happen, this is getting a little bit maybe deeper, but I think this is kind of cool to know. There is a library, an open source programming library out there called FFmpeg, and almost all new applications that deal with media are based off of this library system, VLC Player being one of them. And the latest version they just announced of these libraries just recently, like in the last month, they have integrated NDI capabilities into it. So what that could mean is that at some future point when VLC updates to, these new libraries, it is possible. I mean, obviously, I can't say, I don't know the developer for the VLC, so I don't know when this might happen or what, but I'll just say it would be possible for them, since they are based on this library system called FFmpeg, to incorporate direct NDI support very easily into their applications. So we might see a future version of VLC that actually will take an NDI directly, but until that point, NDI Transmit is certainly a solution that you can do today just by purchasing that extra piece of software.
Okay, perfect. Well, unless anybody has questions at this moment to type in while I'm speaking, it looks like, Kane and Rick, that is the only question for now. So just a reminder to everyone, you can always reach out to the team at JB&A and send those questions in, or give us a call at 415-256-2800 and get those questions answered at any point, and we can point you to, getting in touch with Rick or anybody else over at NewTek too, if we're not able to get it answered for you. But do either of you guys have anything else you want to throw in here as we're closing up?
I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Kane, and keep those cameras rolling and keep creating cool content.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Kane. And we'll see you on the next webinar.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, all.